Welcome to ATB TV. I'm Darren Dance here with Peter Morganti on this beautiful sunny Friday morning. Peter, welcome to ATB TV.
Yes, up and about, kids to school. Bit of deja vu about this recording, Darren, but we won't tell the listeners.
No, take two, we call it.
Yeah. Anyway,
Technical issue.
Technical issue. Yes. Maybe sort.
All right. Well, let's go back through. Let's go back through last week's runners.
We'll go back to an Irishman when we were doing last week's broadcast. The race was on, one eye on the vision and one eye talking to Brad, but he was good. He probably on face value we thought he was a little disappointing, but he pulled up a little jarry, but it's no disgrace going down a length and a half to the winner.
No, I thought he was definitely in trouble in the run. He was trying to overdo it. There was a lack of speed and he was caught wide and had to make a decision to go forward and probably left a bit of a sitting shot, but you could see from the 200 he was gone, and he's done well to run third. I think a lot of horses would have dropped out and ran nowhere, so we just put a line through that and freshen him up, and I'm sure we'll get him on a bigger track that'll suit him better than that track, and I think it'll be all good.
Yeah, they'll enjoy his time with this weather down that beach, Balnarring Way, where do they go, Mars, with their horses?
Balnarring Beach,
yeah. Tuesday at Kyneton, the racing gods took a swipe at us. Periscope in the distance race basically got bogged in the sand, as we found out, and as you'll explain, a lot of fill, and he got caught there and just spun his wheels from the 800 onwards. He finished last, but Shane Jackson, to his credit, did look after him.
Yeah, obviously we were panicking after the race, thought something must have gone amiss with him. It's been had his issues over time, but yeah, as Shane and Pat said post-race, the rail, the inside there was worse than it looked. They'd raced on a heavy 10 a couple of weeks ago and it was chopped up and it had been filled with sand, and yeah, it just didn't work. He didn't like it. He'll go on the wet, he'll go on the dry, but he won't go on that shifty, gluey, loose-topped surface. That was evident, and Shane looked after him. So he's pulled up fine. He's actually coming home on the weekend for a spell. And if you watch those races at Kyneton, you'll see that for the rest of the day, they all came wide and came to the outside and stayed well away from the fence. So it's probably a little bit of the downside of being an early race. But look, he's had a good prep. He's had 5 runs for 2 seconds and a win. So I think going out now in good order will set him up for the autumn, and I think we'll continue to have a bit of fun with him.
Yep. A little bit of confusion when he was accepted for in the Jericho, but those acceptances had to go in on the Tuesday, so they sort of knew what their numbers were well out, and it was the only way you could get into the consolation. So that was a little bit of confusion there yesterday, but as you said, the horse is all good and he'll enjoy a few weeks at home. Later in the day, might have been the next race, Loudspeaker got caught up in a Burke Street traffic jam on the home turn, which was just working into the race nicely. I don't know if she was going to win, but she was going to go awfully close. The door closed, Ben Allen got suspended, Michelle Payne got suspended, and she ended up running 8th.
Yeah, it was horrible to watch, really. Kyneton's it's a tight little track at the best of time, and when you get a back marker in there, a horse that sits out the back and runs home, you need a lot of luck at the best of times. So I guess if you throw in the fact that you're on a tight track, suits on speed, and then you've got a problem with the rail and probably 5 horses out from the rail, they're all going to come for that 1 or 2 lanes down the centre, and everyone's trying to get there. So obviously they're all going to get there before you get there. When you're coming from back, and there was a few there that make a late decision to go there. So she got chopped out. Both riders got suspended for that. But yeah, look, she was going to be probably running top 3. She hadn't really hit a top at that point, so you don't know. You can only assume she was going to finish top 3. Look, she only went 600 metres and didn't take much harm from it, so I think he's got her in next week again. But yeah, I think she's just a victim of the day, just the pattern, the day, the track, and I think you just got to put a real line right through it.
It's a scenario with the Olympics where they've got their lanes 1 to 8. They're generally told the jockeys to hold their lanes, but Benny wanted to go from sort of 4 to 6 or 4 to 5, and Michelle wanted to go from 5 to 6, and yeah, bang. Anyway, she, as we'll touch on later, she may go to Echuca next Wednesday. We did have a win, and a lovely win, a strong win, a great ride. La Pietra, the Piero, now mare, 4-year-old, yep. Got the job done at Sandown in good style.
Yeah, it was a good win. She put the writing on the wall at Ballarat first up when it was too short for her running second with a big gap to third, which is always a sign that whilst you're a little disappointed you don't win, but when there's a big gap to third, you know that you're on song. So she was always going to go and run well next time out. There was a big gap to a second up run, probably 3.5 weeks, which was of concern. But she was due to go around last week, but they made a late decision to go to Sandown. She was going that well, and the way she worked on Saturday, they were pretty confident she'd run well Wednesday at Sandown, and she did. Textbook ride from Dean. We were worried we were going to be the sitting shot out in front, but he let the horse go around him, and he sat behind it, peeled out at the right time, and hit the line strongly. I know the second horse was unlucky. And that horse is by Dandino, obviously the horse, the stand we own, but it was unlucky, and we'll pay to follow that Tarantalo. It was a very good run, but we'll take the first prize. She's a very valuable mare now by Piero, and I'm pretty sure that won't be the last race she wins.
No, absolutely. I think Dino was pretty happy to get a win, Darren. His post-race was very, very... give me more rides, give me more rides. No, he's been a great jockey for us over the years.
He's been one of our favourites for a long time, and that'll be the first city winner he's ridden for us since last year, I would think. So yeah. It was good to have him on. It was good that he chased the ride. He actually rang me when she was nominated for Donald to see if she was going there, because he was desperate to stay on her. So it's good, well done to him and his manager for chasing that up and getting that ride.
Yeah, and Griffo and Matt de Kock, that was their first city winner since coming together, and they did get a double, but unfortunately it wasn't quite with us, with Hasseltoff, who, geez, he was brave, he was 4 wide, no cover, he jumped probably too well, as we've sort of chatted about, just come back, and of course the great jockey Damien Oliver is on the favourite. I'll follow this horse. I'll tell you what, he had to work to get past our bloke. And again, as you mentioned earlier, there was a huge margin to third, which is really a good sign that these two are probably classes above their opposition.
Yeah, well, I think you swap the runs, you swap the result. We had to do all the work. Oliver was too smart. He just sat in behind us. We just jumped too well. Damien had no other option, and Oliver was always going to follow us into the race and have the last shot at us. And to the horse's credit, when they levelled up, Hasseltoff actually dug in there for a few strides and held him. He got him in the end, but he'd had the easier run. So I think, as I said, you swap the barriers, swap the runs, and you swap the result. But no, he's a magnificent looking horse, Hasseltoff. He's been a good horse all the way through. Took a while to learn how to race, needed gelding. Outstanding looking horse, pick of the yard, and was unlucky not to win. But yeah, I'm sure that horse, we've had a couple of good Toorak toffs over the years, and I think this bloke's one of them, and I'm sure he'll be winning a Saturday race somewhere in his career.
Yeah, the fact he's potentially going to get to 2,000 at some stage, you would think it's going to open up a lot of doors going forward, and the owners should, fingers crossed, stay sound and all that, be a good fun ride over the next couple of years.
Yeah.
Robe de Fay ran first up at Pakenham last night in the last race. Showed his customary toe, but just got caught wide, and I think they expected him to need the run, and he tied. It was later in the race where he tied. I thought it was okay. He ended up finishing second last, but that'll clean him out. Yeah,
well, he's better leading over a mile. So first up, he was always going to be in need of it, and he had a hard run, as you say. Didn't do him any favours, but he done well to stick on as long as he did, and I think you just wait till he gets to a mile and he can get a good gate, and he'll be winning one of them.
Yep. Well, that was our runners. Winner, a second, bit of bad luck. one to the paddock, one starting up. Bit of a mixture, but our theme of going okay continues. I think, you know, our last 40-odd runners over 5 or 6 weeks, there's 7 winners and, you know, about 16 placings. So, you know, we're 45% roughly top 3 overall for the season and about a 12% or 11.5% winners. So we're spiking in the right way. Going forward, Supreme Thunder was scratched tonight from Cranbourne. Originally, Archie was going to go there because he wasn't too sure whether he could beat the favourite at Moonee Valley, who was also in the race at Cranbourne. So he's had a bit of a rethink and thought for the chance of a 74,000 booty at the Valley, it's worth a throw at the stumps, opposed to 19,000 at Cranbourne tonight. I think running second's about 25,000 at the Valley and running third's 13. He thought, well, not very often you get a $4 chance at the Valley. Let's have a go. We can always go back and win the maiden in the country if it doesn't work.
Yeah, interesting. Yesterday I was all for Cranbourne. Today he's all for the Valley. So I don't know. Let's hope he's pulled the right rein. I mean, the horse was super first up. Ran second at Ballarat. Big gap to the rest. Winner's pretty smart. I think that winner won Ballarat Cup Day as well. That beat him first up.
Yeah.
So
good, strong form line.
Good form line. I think he's a genuine chance in this race. I mean, obviously, you've got to respect Warren and Crongold's horse. It's $2.50 for a reason. Looks smart, but like you say, the money on offer, it's too good to refuse, I guess. Whether the Valley is the right track for this horse, I don't know. Anyway, I suppose we'll go there and race and have a look and we'll know going forward. He's only having his second career start, so if he doesn't handle the Valley or we find some reason why he gets well beaten, then we'll know not to go back there, I guess. But Cranbourne's not much different, is it? It's a tight track, favours leaders. So this horse is going to get better with racing, and I think he's still working it out, and he probably needs a bit further. But Archie's never far wrong with what he does, so you obviously think he's worked good enough to have a crack at him. And if he can run in the top 3, well, it's the same as pretty much winning at Cranbourne. So I think he goes there, a real good chance to figure in the finish.
If you're the third favourite at Cranbourne last night, looking at the field thinking, geez, how are we going to beat these two? And then you wake up this morning, the 2 favourite, first and second picks are scratched. You go to Cranbourne feeling pretty happy about yourself.
Never happens to us, does it?
No. Same race. We've got Sea Princess, we think, will go around. You'll explain there is an option at Sandown, but she comes off a good win at Wangaratta. She's a filly still learning her craft. I don't know how she gets around the Valley, but, she'll be tractable enough. Jai McNeil on. It is a step to a benchmark 70 in a mile, but, yeah, we're still not sure whether she goes there, but we'll get a measure of her if she does.
Yeah, well, this race was an afterthought for her as well, purely because there wasn't many nommed for it, and it was, a big money race. So Friedman put her in. She is nommed for Wednesday next week at Sandown, which I think that track would suit her better because she's a big filly, takes a big stride. She's only learning her craft. Once again, doesn't know anything about the Valley. Look, I think she's a good filly on the way up. I don't know which way they'll go. I've got a feeling now that the 2 favourites are running at Moonee Valley. They might save her for Sandown Wednesday. It's just my gut feel. I don't know, but I think if I was a trainer, that's what I'd be doing. I don't mind if they run her. Sometimes it's good to test yourselves against the better horses and the track. But it'll be interesting to see what they do. But as I say, not many horses win their maiden and then come out and win a 64, let alone a 70. So only very good horses do that. Only 1 in 16 go from a maiden to a 64 win. So if she does that, she's in that top echelon. So whether she runs Saturday or Wednesday, she's going to have a work cut out, I think.
I think Wednesday is a fillies and mares opposed to a colts and geldings. So, it certainly will be, well, it's midweek, it'll be weaker. But we'll find out tomorrow morning when the scratches come through. We'll go into state. through the border, write your name, travelled up overnight. He'd be there now, where he hires down a little bit of a pick. He runs in a benchmark 78 over 1300. We've got 3-time Melbourne Cup winning hoop, Kerrin McAvoy on. He's about $8 in the market. It's an even race. It was a necessity to go there, mainly because there was not many options around here for him.
No, exactly right. Yeah, at one point we weren't sure what we're going to do with this horse. Probably got 3 or 4 horses in the same position around that same benchmark level over that same distance. I could throw Connery and Cracksman into that mix, but Archie found the race in Sydney and he's not afraid to go to Sydney. He's been there and won there before with other horses. He knows what it takes. The horse will stable at Matthew Smith's overnight. It is going to be hot up there today and tomorrow, but I know they've got fans and they'll swim him and do all the right things with him. And he's a big, heavy horse. He's not a horse you can have 6 weeks between runs with. He gets away on you pretty quick. So I think this trip to Sydney in the heat or whatever happens will strip him down and keep him up to the mark. Look, he's $8. He'll be competitive. Probably got one of the best riders in the country on him. So I'm sure he'll run really, really well. And I think it'll do the horse the world of good, that trip away, going forward in the preparation. And I think we've got a few of these horses that, you know, we're looking at that Paul Ferry-Carroy Cup down at Warrnambool towards the end of the year. And I think, you know, we could have a couple in those races. But this is a race that we need to take. And let's hope he runs really well and comes out of it in good order.
He's a horse that likes to have a bit of command in the race. He likes to be up near the pace. Now, gate 3 suits that perfectly. So you would hope in transition he just gets the right run, and if he's good enough, he's good enough.
Yep. No, he'll run well, and he was super first up, just ran into a really good horse.
Who won again.
Yeah. So, you know, 9 times out of 10, 9 years out of 10, he would have won that race. But, you know, he just ran into a good horse who has since won. So,
yeah.
You know, super form, going to be better for that run. Trip away is going to make him. And I see a lot of upside, even if he doesn't win tomorrow.
Yep. Sunday. Now, obviously, Periscope's in the paddock, the Jericho Cup. Interestingly, Darren, I spoke before, when the acceptances went in Tuesday, Pat said there was a market went up, and Periscope was actually $12 on the 4th line for the Jericho itself. So,
well, he would have had to start favourite in the other race.
Yeah, yep. Anyway, for another day, maybe. Sunday at that meeting where there might be 500 people allowed back on course, Darren, I'm here from the public side. It's been kicked off at Warrnambool, the Jericho Cup Day, and we've got Maisie Motion going around in a benchmark 58 over 1700. Laura Lafferty claiming 2. Galloped really well during the week. Pat was reasonably confident until he's seen the field. It's probably bought us more on a 64 than a 58 for depth, but she goes there from gate 2, I think it is, and she'll be a good each-way chance.
Yes, it's a little bit of a tricky track for her, but she's got to look. She's not the easiest horse to place or ride. She doesn't have a great turn of foot, but she can stay. So, you know, she's claiming the 2. Laura's ridden her in work. She understands through Pat now how she needs to be ridden, and that is she needs to get rolling from the 800. And she's not a horse that can suffer interference. So if she gets dictated to or interfered with in the run, it'll be all over. She really does need to get rolling at the 800. I'm not saying she has to lead, but she needs clear running, clear air, and she needs to consistently build a momentum and then be in a position where she's sort of at full tilt, 300 or 400 out, and then just try and outstay them to the line. That's her go. So, but if she gets held up on the fence or caught up and she can only get out at the 200 or 300, well, she's not going to pick them up. She's not that style of horse. So, no, I think she'll run well. Pat's really happy with the way she's going, but I think after they've gone 600 metres, we're going to know what's going to happen.
Yeah. I think Geordie Charles's ride at Echuca, I think he got rolling about the 600, and she just kept out punching them to the line. That's probably the template of the ride you need. Monday, nothing. Tuesday, fields aren't out. They won't be far away, but we'll have 2 runners. We'll have Street Baby and a Mile Maiden, Declan Bates. She'll get her chance there. This will be a drop back from a Warrnambool Maiden or a Maiden at Ballarat. So while we probably think maybe 1,800, 2,000 in time, I think a Mile Maiden at Hamilton, she'd have to be going very close to winning that, hopefully. But
yeah, well,
draw 16.
She's promised a lot. She's been around the mark. She needs to. She showed glimpses of being a really good horse. So I don't know whether that's just she's teasing us, or she's just immature, or she's just looking for further. But as you say, it's a step down in grade. If she gets the right run, she should be competitive in that, and she needs to be competitive in that race.
Yep. Cracksman will go around in a 2,200 metre benchmark 58. Laura Lafferty again will claim. Now, this is a step back from the 264 runs that he's had this prep, which were both good. Initially 63.5. Her claim brings it back to 62.5, back to 60.5. It's only a kilo more than he carried and ran really well with first up. He would nearly want to be winning without seeing the field or the gate.
Well, he's third up. His first 2 runs have been good without threatening to win. Lindsay Smith thinks he's got him in a good place mentally and physically. I think whatever he does here, this will bring him to his top. But you would think in a 58 there, with respect to the other horses, he should be winning. And if he's not, just makes you wonder what level he will get to. So I think that he'll start short. He was well back the other day when, he probably still needed that run. But he's a good horse, and I think should be ticking that win off there and then moving on.
Yeah, well, he's a 66 rated winner at Morpheville, and he ran 3rd in a 78 at Sandown, so you'd be hoping. So that's it, Darren. Oh, well, it's not it, because Wednesday we could potentially have loudspeaker, as we mentioned, backing up at Echuca. Also heard the guys mention the Crackerjack Lady's going to be nominated for anywhere up to about 4 races, including Echuca, Kyneton, somewhere else and somewhere else. So she's going to kick off probably over 1,400 next week. She's trialled up okay, so it'd be good to get her back. They're obviously got a handle on her now after probably getting things a little bit upside down at different times with tactics first prep.
Yeah, well, last prep, she started off really good and got worse and worse as the longer the prep went. But I think, look, she's a staying type, a Crackerjack King, probably a miler. She's going to probably take a couple of runs, but she's going to have to get some form on the board early, or she's going to be getting balloted out. And before you know it, we're going to be running at these P2 races. So, which you can't afford to do when you've got a horse in the Mar yard because it's expensive. So she's trialled up good. I think whatever she does first up, she'll improve on. But, she'll really, really need to stand up this preparation.
Physically, she's matured. I know Dave said at Arrett that she's lengthened a little, which is good. So, let's all hope it's all positive when she kicks off. Collectible and Igniter are both nominated for Sandown. It's an 1,800. Not sure whether they both go there. Collectible maybe, but there was also another mile race somewhere she might have been going to go to. You might be able to fill us in more on both of those.
Yeah, well, Igniter, I'm not sure whether he'll go the 1,800 or whether he'll go to the mile. I think they're going to run a blood test on him this week and just see how his blood is, because he's had his little issues with his seasonal weather. So, obviously to get a horse ready for an 1,800, you've got to. So it just depends if he's not. And Collectible, she was really good last time out, but she's hot and cold too. So she can. Every time we think she's going to win, she gets beat. So I wouldn't be having the last on her.
She's teased us.
The other one could go there is obviously Sea Princess. So I think if she happened to go there without seeing the field gate or jockey or anything, I'd be pretty confident she'd be running really well if she went there.
Yeah, I sort of put a lot. I sort of try and measure her and La Pietra up. I think La Pietra is probably a little bit more of the rounded product at the moment, but I don't know if there's a lot between them. So yeah, you're right. If she goes there, admittedly, La Pietra on a maiden, she'd have to go to a 64. But yeah, the big track and the just that slight drop in class, it'll suit her if she goes there, should I say?
Well, we know Sea Princess. She's only a 3-year-old. And we know she'll be better in the autumn as a later 3-year-old. So whatever she does is perhaps a real bonus for the owners.
Yep.
And she'll be a lovely 3-year-old filly next year and a nice mare for the spring next year. So she's a work in progress. She's got to fill out into that big frame, but you know, we've seen she's got ability. We know she can gallop, and we just got to make sure we take the right steps along that journey.
Yep. Well, that's it, Darren, as far as I know.
I just want to remind everyone that last week we interviewed Bradwell Willer, and he obviously came out, and we were rapt to see him win on that $33 shot over there and announce his arrival in Perth. And I think we did ask him about whether there was a horse over there that he was excited about, and he said there was, and it was called Elite Street, and it's in the winter bottom on Saturday. And it's paying $15 against a Shorten, and it's a Street Boss gelding that's won 4 from 7. And he specifically mentioned that the other day. Just keep an eye on Elite Street in the winter bottom on Saturday.
It's the get on for the punters. I think
well, it could be the get out. It could be the get out by.
Get it out.
It's on at what time's that race? 8:30 at night.
Oh right, geez. Probably some wounded punters by then. Then put it all on Cracksman Tuesday. So that's it, Darren. You found the credit card during the week, particularly on Wednesday afternoon. Got rid of one horse and picked up 2 on the Inglis online. And guess what? Both of those have been fully subscribed now, not anything left in them. So You Think mare called Black Mirror, who has potential after racing from a breeding point of view, and a 3-year-old I'm Invincible gelding formerly trained by Tony Golan, who, both are lightly raced, upside. He's fully sold as well, and both go to Pat Ryan.
Yeah, well, we've been going through those sales for weeks and weeks, and that's where we got Cracksman from. And we've been bidding at most sales without luck, but finally this week zeroed in on those 2 horses, and we're lucky enough to get them. Probably very lucky to get Intense off Tony Golan, because he actually was bidding on it himself, and something happened where he was away from his computer, and then it ended. So he was straight on the phone to me to see if he could train it, which is a good sign.
Yeah.
It was a $100,000 yearling. He wanted to train it for the cutest money, but we'd already committed to bringing it down to Warrnambool and getting it on the beach. It's a big, raw, gangly horse. It's run second at Ipswich. It's got good form. 5 starts, a maiden, but a couple of placings. You can see from its replays, still got a lot to learn, and he confirmed that when I spoke to him the other night. And I'm sure that we'll have a lot of fun with that horse. Very sound horse, and a lovely animal. He'll arrive here either Sunday or Monday. And then we'll have a look at him and get him ready for the Warrnambool Carnival, if we can get him into that for the autumn. And the mare, Black Mirror, was with Graham Begg and then Ray Bazanko. Immature, So You Think mare, and just give us the rundown on her. She needs to be trained outside. She's not a box horse, a little bit like Maisie Motion, but she's got a ton of ability in my mind. If you go back and watch that replay of Pakenham, where she came from pretty much last and flew home, ran second, she's got a lot of ability, and I think we'll have a lot of fun with her. And she's got a magnificent pedigree, being related to Merlene and Miss Penny Money and even Capitalist. So she's a dual-purpose mare. Once again, 5 starts, still a maiden, but I think she'll be having some wins on the board in the autumn as we lead towards the Warrnambool Carnival. I'm even confident enough to say post that we might even be able to see a run around in town in the off season. So we did need a couple of more tried horses. We didn't have a big book looking like going to Warrnambool this year. So it's always a carnival we like to support. We've been very active through the year in moving horses on that haven't been up to that standard that we want. I don't know the exact numbers, but I'd say we probably sold or retired 12 to 15 horses in the last 9 months. And I think we've only bought 3 online that I can think of. But we do want to raise the bar on the standards of these horses. And, you know, it's hard to get a superstar. It's hard to get a consistent group horse. But we want to make sure that we're buying these horses that can pay their way, number one, give the owners a lot of fun, and also have the potential either to go to breeding later or to get to the city, be competitive in town, like La Pietra, Sea Princess, Write Your Name, Supreme Thunder, those sorts of horses. That's what we're really trying to do. And I think just at the moment with COVID, Pete, a lot of people are a bit shy about spending money on yearlings and waiting 18 months. I think what they're looking for is some action on the track. And, you know, when you retire a great horse like My Shiny Choice, you know, you don't want to then sit back and wait 2 years for your next runner. So that's where the English online sale's fantastic. You know, you can get in there and have a look. The reports are there, the forms there, pedigrees are there. With our contacts, we can get around most of the trainers or owners. We pretty much know everyone in the game, and we can get the mail, and most people are pretty straight down the line. And, you know, you can buy a horse that can, you know, suit the needs of what you're trying to do.
I think that's an important point, that last bit, Darren, because the bridges you've built over the years means you can look at nearly every horse online and you know someone that'll know something about the horse. Now, we probably had 6 or 8 horses circled in that sale, and you know, we come back to 2 because the others, there was a little negative, and we just thought, well, any little negative you just steer clear of. And if you reckon you got ticks in most boxes for the others, that gives you the confidence to bid, and you set your price and you go for it.
Yeah, exactly. And there was one horse there that we were keen on, and when we did our research, we were told to leave it alone. So we put a line through it straight away. Yeah. In fact, there was 2 of those, I think, we put a line straight through after getting the mail. So, you know, so that's what you have to do. You have to do your homework. It's hard enough to win a race, but you don't want to be buying a lemon. You want to be buying something that, you know, that they've told you is good and it's got improvement. And to be honest, the 3 we've bought this year, Cracksman, Intense and Black Mirror, they're all sound, they're all immature, and they're all going to get better with racing.
That's right. I think one that you touched on, one was a WA mare who we may have went to Lindsay Smith. He knew about the mare and said, nah, too many tricks for me. You just leave it alone. You know, it can go win races.
Well, there's no upside.
No. And, you know, and that's not to say they don't go and win races, but I think you need to just eliminate as many negatives as you can and trust your judgment from there.
We've done our homework, we've landed a couple, and we'll continue to look going forward because it only took you less than a day to sell them. So
yeah, it was good.
I need about 7 or 8 for you to sell.
Yeah, well, give me something to do on Sunday. It's Sunday. No, look, and you know, the people are wanting them. They're out there. But owners, they're bread and butter prices. Anyone can get involved. You can form a little syndicate, or you can jump at it yourself, and you know you're going to have a runner within a couple of months.
And I suppose the other thing we should mention, Pete, is the other thing we did last week was we've put a couple of fillies up for lease, which is something new that we haven't really done. Probably, I don't think we've done in the last maybe. I reckon probably Miss 10,000 was the last one we leased for a client.
Yeah, and there was one at Hayes before that. I can't remember its name, but it was no good because I was in it. That's why it was no good.
So for these, these valuable fillies, often the owners don't want to sell their shares in them. They want to retain them for breeding. They think a lot of them. And obviously they don't want to pay $2,000 or $3,000 a month in training fees or $4,000. So they're happy to lease them, where the people can come in and have the racing rights for those horses for a period of time. And obviously the owner gets a percentage of the prize money, 25% in our case. and the leasee pays the costs and gets 75% of the money. And normally what ends up happening is you end up with in a horse that you probably wouldn't be able to buy, i.e. the Frankel filly that was a $300,000 yearling. These people have got an opportunity now to race a Frankel filly without, putting any money in at the start.
Many bases that we probably haven't over the past, and you've got to move with the times, Darren.
Well, the good thing is, Pete, there's only one online sale in December, which is about the 16th. So that'll be the next catalogue we go through. But there are other sales. There's Gavel House. There's Bloodstock online. Inglis is not the only one there, but it seems to be the one that has the most entries every month in the files. We go through the whole book, but we even go through the shares just to see what's on offer. I think last month I looked at one that was a Group 1 winner in New Zealand that you could have bought a third of her, and I was tempted.
Yeah, no.
Based on the info I got, I left it alone. So, so we do look at everything, and hopefully we're buying the right ones, and time will tell.
Yep, exactly. Well, my book's empty.
Righto. Well, we'll leave it there. Good luck to everyone with their runners. Congratulations on your win with La Pietra. That was magnificent. Looking forward to that mare going forward. And good luck with all your runners throughout the next week as we lead up to Christmas. Until next week, I'm Darren Dance. Here with Peter Morganti.
See you guys.